You ever watch a grown man in a perfect uniform get taken down by an 8-year-old girl quoting satellite handoff protocols? Because I have, and let me tell you, it's not something you forget. That's the scene that kicked off a day at Falcon Ridge Air Force Base I'll be talking about for the rest of my life. Heck, folks on 3 different continents might end up debating what really happened in that hangar by the time this is all over. But let me back up a sec. It all started with Lightning 7, a grounded F-35A that had more technical issues than a new recruit in basic. 3 days it sat there, 80 million bucks of silent metal, and every diagnostic came up clean, like the jet was just being stubborn for the fun of it. That morning, Staff Sergeant Hudson Dawson was elbow deep in the thing, running cables, rebooting modules, cursing under his breath the way only a seasoned crew chief can. Sitting nearby, kicking her little legs, was his daughter, Ava, 8 years old, all blue eyes and quiet intensity, watching like a hawk and, honestly, probably understanding more than half the grown-ups in the room. See, it was bring your kid to work day, one of the few times they let dependents into operational areas. Ava didn't just play with wrenches or stare at blinking lights. She watched, listened, and, more than anything, thought. It was no secret she'd gotten her smarts from her mother, Rebecca Dawson, a Space Force engineer whose death a year and a half back left a hole the size of Colorado in that family, and apparently, a few holes in the Air Force's playbook too. The tension ramped up when Master Sergeant Curtis Owen came hustling in, report in hand, sweat on his brow, and a look that said he'd rather be anywhere else. "Colonel Manning's asking for updates every hour," he muttered, "and he's getting that look." Everyone knew what that look meant. Someone's career about to be roadkill if this bird didn't get airborne by tomorrow, with Senator Hawkins herself flying in for a demo. Pressure? You have no idea. Right on cue. Here came Colonel Chester Manning. Perfect uniform, perfect posture, the kind of guy who polishes his boots twice a day and never met a mirror he didn't like. Major Walsh trailed behind him, eager, sharp, always the first to echo his opinions. Manning wasted no time letting everyone know just how little patience he had left. "I want solutions, not excuses," he barked, staring right through Hudson. "We need this aircraft mission ready by 0800 tomorrow. If you can't fix it, I'll call in civilian contractors." Understood. That little jab? It stung. Years of hard work, training, and loyalty. And in two senses, you're just a glorified mechanic, waiting to be replaced by a contractor with a clipboard and an attitude. Morale? Pretty much in the gutter. Still, Hudson kept at it, but you could feel the room tensing up. Meanwhile, Ava just kept watching, eyes darting between screens, catching patterns even grown men missed. She piped up, soft at first. "Dad, does the reset happen every 12 minutes or 15? Hudson, frazzled, barely glanced down. "Not now, sweetheart, grown-up stuff." But Ava pressed on. "It's just, Mom used to say systems get confused when they're trying to talk to satellites and ground at the same time. The timing tells you which protocol's off." That's when Manning lost it. Cut her off, made some snide crack about 8-year-olds solving Air Force problems, and got a few nervous laughs from the peanut gallery. Ava's face went red, but you could see something shift behind those eyes, like she'd been here before, being written off because she was too young, too small, too different. Then came the twist no one saw coming. Technical Sergeant Frances Ward, a legend in that hangar with 18 years service, looked up from her own aircraft. "Wait, cross-service interference? We haven't checked for Space Force protocol conflicts." Suddenly, the energy in the room snapped. Half the crew stopped what they were doing, and Manning went pale as a sheet. He barked again, threatened disciplinary action, tried to shut it all down, but you could feel the tide turning. Truth, it turns out, doesn't care about your rank point. 20 minutes later, Frances Ward, ignoring every unspoken rule about not poking the bear, plugged her scanner into Lightning 7 and found it. Every 12 minutes and 43 seconds, the comm system tried and failed to handshake with Space Force satellites. The bird wasn't broken. It was trying to do something no one had told it to do, talking in the wrong language, tripping over its own software, And nobody noticed because nobody bothered to check outside the Air Force's own protocols. By then, Ava was sitting next to her dad, quieter than before. She whispered, "I'm sorry, Dad. I didn't mean to get you in trouble." Hudson just hugged her and said, "You have nothing to apologize for. Your mother would be proud." And he meant it. Sometimes the people who save the day are the ones you least expect. Enter Dr. Janet Parker, civilian contractor and technical expert, fresh off a red eye and radiating the confidence of someone who always has the right answer. Until, suddenly, she didn't. Francis, cool as ever, briefed her on what they'd found, and Ava, bless her heart, stepped up again. My mom was building a system to let all the branches talk without changing equipment, like a universal translator. The look on Dr. Parker's face? Priceless, caught between pride and the sinking feeling she was being schooled by a grade schooler. From there, the whole thing snowballed. Chief Master Sergeant Stone showed up, then General Griffin herself, and finally, a secure line patched in Admiral Jenkins from the Pentagon. Each time the news got worse. 8 jets with the same software, no paperwork, no authorization, just Captain Dawson's fingerprints all over the code. How'd it get there? Who installed it? No one had answers, and suddenly, everyone's job was on the line. Then came the gut punch. Ava, clutching her mother's secure drive, quietly admitting she knew the access codes because her mom wanted her to keep pilots safe. Imagine being 8 years old, sitting in a conference room with half the Pentagon, asked to save the day because you're the only person alive who knows the system. The look on those generals' faces when she typed in that password? You couldn't script it. General Griffin authorized Ava's involvement under emergency safety protocols. Her dad made sure her welfare was protected, but you could tell the grown-ups in that room were struggling to accept that sometimes the solution isn't rank or experience, but someone small, honest, and determined enough to see past the politics. As the Pentagon investigation team rolled in, you could feel the weight of what had happened settling over the whole base. Congressional oversight, national security, military accountability, all triggered by a kid who just wanted to help her dad fix a jet. And you know what? Maybe that's the real lesson here. Sometimes the people we overlook, the voices we ignore, are exactly who we need to hear. Maybe it's time for the military, and for all of us, to remember that expertise doesn't always come with a title or a uniform, but with a willingness to listen, to question, and to care. So, what do you think? Was it right to let Ava consult on national security, or did the system fail by letting it come to this? Where's the line between safety and secrecy? I want to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments, share your own stories, and let's talk about how we really get things done when it matters most.